last night after a grueling workout on the Peloton where he reportedly vomited.
Really?
Yeah.
You went that hard.
Yeah. At the same time, not so hard that you couldn't watch televised poker. But
your eyes
you are
not
so
a
hard,
big part
you're
of it.
vomiting.
Sorry, I go past the point of exhaustion.
Getting shakier by the...
It's not brew. You know what? All right.
I'll add another one to it. He was working out with dumbbells.
I'm on it. Wildes. Yeah.
And
a lot of people
vomiting.
do this. A lot of people do this. It's called CrossFit.
I can't wait to see you guys race.
Just go.
I
Can
can't
we
wait to
do
see
the
your
tiers?
40-yard
You're all
dash.
bark, no bite. You won't race me. You won't do any of this stuff. You'll just talk to your fake friends in the camera.
I don't want to race you because you would throw up on me.
Okay.
An elite committee of nerds and ball knowers fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all sports television. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for the premiere of NBA tiers. This is going to be great.
Also, I did have a lot of red wine last night. That maybe played with the committee. Now that I'm recreating why today's workout was so hard, maybe that was a piece of it. All right, here we go. First tiers since post-free agency tiers. Sadly, that means 4 teams never made the tiers. The eliminated.
Already eliminated.
Already?
Well, we're 60 games into the year. Sorry.
Oh, Spurs are still alive.
Wizards, Hornets. Well, they're in their special place. Wizards, Hornets, Jazz, Pelicans. They're all eliminated.
You know what? Other than the Wizards, those are 3 fun to watch. Not the Jazz.
Yeah,
The Hornets and the
LaMelo.
Pelicans are fun to watch.
Thank you, LaMelo.
Because of Zion and LaMelo.
So those guys off the tiers, they're eliminated. Now, bottom of the tiers. Sorry, season from hell.
Weak.
So, Embiid out for the year. Wemby out for the year with a, we hope, one-off, nothing but kind of scary injury. And then, obviously, the Mavs, we don't need to litigate all of it.
Can't believe it.
So so these are not necessarily the 3 worst teams in the league, other than those 4, but they are other than those 4, or maybe including the 4 eliminated, the 3 teams whose fans are having the worst time and they're having the worst season. Possibly frisky tier. So the Nets, the Blazers, and the Raptors, all the last month have made it to where, are they going to make the play-in? Did they go from tanking to actually turning it around? Shout out to Wild's buddy, Chauncey Billups, who that Blazers team started, first 40 games of the year looked like it was going to be Wizards adjacent. They were playing good ball. The Nets front office wants to tank. The players won't let them. And the Raptors getting it going a bit as well. So possibly frisky. Play out. So these are going to be the 4 play-in teams, and I got to tell you, don't need them. The 2 of these teams are going to make the playoffs. Now, you guys know I have a soft spot in my heart for Franz Wagner, but the Orlando Magic's offense is unspeakably awful. the Heat got rid of Jimmy Butler. After the top 6 in the East, we could really just give Boston and Cleveland first-round buys. These teams we don't need playoff series here. This is a weird one. Winner is the loser. So here's what I mean. Of these 3 teams, one of them is going to be the 8th seed in the West. That team is going to be the loser. Because the other 2 teams are going to get to start their summer a week early and get lottery ping pong balls. The winner is going to get absolutely whacked by Oklahoma City and have no chance at moving up in the lottery. That's going to be your 8, 9, 10 in the West in some order or another. Now to the teams that might make some noise. Thrilled? Nah. Furious. Here's what I mean. If I'd have told you before the year, the Pistons, you're going to be on the 5th tier with 60 games in, they'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
If I told the Pacers, they'd be like, okay, yeah, that's about what we expected. Told the Timberwolves, they'd be like, you've got to be kidding me. But all these teams, they all have about the same record. They all right now feel like they have about the same chance of a deep playoff run. For Detroit, that's awesome. For Indy, it's kind of where they were last year. And for the Timberwolves, it feels catastrophic after the season that you had.
Yeah.
Headed in the wrong direction. So the Grizzlies, now Triple J is now injured. Ja, you never know when he's going to play. The Rockets, the last month, have not been playing well. And here's the thing about the Knicks. They just can't beat good teams.
Right.
They're
like a tier below the contenders.
Right. It's a weird spot because and the Knicks, by the way, traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, then traded for Karl Anthony Towns. Like, they thought they could be where Cleveland is. Not necessarily 50-10, but 1 or 2 seed, a real threat to Boston. Instead, it feels like they have a hard round 2 ceiling.
You feel like they're where Cleveland was last year.
Yes, it's a great way to put it. Can't count out legends. So I'm just going to be totally transparent here. I do not love any of these 3 rosters. However, all 3 of these teams have a top 15-ish all-time player. For 2 of those guys, the Bucks and the Nuggets, that player is still in their prime. They also all have a really good playoff-proven-ish wingman in Jimmy, Dame, and Jamal Murray. The reason I said ish is I know Jimmy or Dame hasn't gone on a bunch of deep playoff runs, but he's been good in the playoffs. After that, I don't love their rosters, and I don't love the way the teams are fully put together, but it's impossible to count any of those 3 teams out because of who their best player is, who their second best player is. Now we're near the top. The best teams. See that little asterisk? Oh. So here's the deal. These are the 2 best teams. They are a combined, I think, 101 and 21. All the metrics say they're the 2 best teams. The eye test, even, if you take the names off the jerseys, it's like those are the 2 best teams. However, in your gut, you certainly feel like in the East, Boston's probably better. And in the West, America's most trusted basketball voice just told you who's making the finals, which means storybook season. So here's the deal. While sports gods are a controversial thing, let me put it in a different way. How about this? Sports do sometimes play out in storylines. And what is a better storyline than a year where the narrative around the NBA is ratings are down, players are mad, fans are mad, what's wrong with the league? Then if it culminates in an all-time postseason with the best possible finals matchup you could ever have. Not only Celtics-Lakers, but a team that is the defending champion trying to win back-to-back, going up against a guy trying to be the GOAT and a guy trying to become the face of the league in Luka. I think they're the 2 best teams in the league right now. Brew, those are the tiers.
Nicely done. Nicely done. It's interesting, the storybook, when you mentioned that to me, I was talking to somebody from LeBron's past before the show, and we were talking about how things have just really worked out for him. I mean, he's from a really tough background, but the right people have been around him from his youth to high school to the pros. And storybook, the win when they came back from the 3-1 deficit against Golden State in 2016, that was storybook. If they had a movie about that, you would have been like, that's not even realistic. You know what I mean? And then if this situation does work out and they were able to win a championship this year, his 40th year season with his son, I mean, a lot of LeBron's career has been storybook, you know? And so I just had to say that, as you said.
Think about that. And if they do that, the James family ties the Jordan family 6 rings apiece. Oh,
the family too. The family
6 rings in the house.
I don't know if that counts in the GOAT combo, but hey, some people will bring it up, obviously. But I am going to move quickly about the Knicks.
Yes, please.
Because I love Tibbs as a coach. I think he's a very good coach. But if they do flame out in the playoffs,
no,
I don't know what other. You look at that roster. You got 2 stars. You got 2 legit stars. And then you got a host of nice
great
role players. Yes. I'm just saying it's not about it wouldn't be about but it wouldn't be about Tibbs not being a good coach. Just like it wasn't about Mark Jackson not being a good coach. But it just might be, have we hit the ceiling of where he's going to get us? Because the roster looks good.
Jeff Van Gundy?
Well, Tibbs was a Van Gundy disciple.
Oh, yeah.
I'm moving Denver up, Nick, and you know,
okay.
We'll see your nugget of bias in this week's tiers. I mean, the Nuggets, they got the best player in the league. Like for them to be on the same tier with the Bucks, and I get it, Giannis is great. I don't think the Bucks are in the same. Like, I just think that the Nuggets deserve a little more respect than that, and I'd put them on that second tier with OKC and Cleveland. We know they have the best player in the league. Remember, Aaron Gordon has only played about half the season. And he is a huge piece for them, especially as they've chopped away at their depth. What they are, it's interesting with them because they shoot the fewest threes in the league, 31 a game, all right? But they shoot it well. They're like 38%, which is third in the league. So they need to shoot more threes. And I know their offense isn't really the problem.
Also, Westbrook said, okay.
Well, Westbrook. And Westbrook's been good for them, has helped them with their depth.
Last month he's been shakier than in
because
the
he's had to, play, maybe be starting some more games. Sure. But I just think that Denver is going to be tough, and I would move them up. I have them ahead of Golden State and ahead of Milwaukee, so I think they should be up.
I'll be honest. I also have them ahead of Golden State, Milwaukee, but I do not have them. If it were purely me, they would be their own tier, but ahead of Golden State and Milwaukee, but beneath Oklahoma City and Cleveland. Like, I think that I feel really strongly that Oklahoma City can win the championship.
You think the only team that can beat them in the West is the Lakers? It seems like
Denver,
or the only team that can beat OKC.
Yes. And I don't know that I would pick them. I don't know that I'd pick the Lakers to beat OKC. Well, here's the thing. I almost assuredly will because ties go to my heart, and I will be rooting for the Lakers. But
that's why I got up.
I know it was very savvy of you. But here's my concern, Wildes, and you're the only person I think in the room who's seen Denver in person this year. Mm-hmm. Here's my concern with Denver. Each year they have just lost a key rotation piece. And Jokic, the last few years, he's kind of like maxed out for how good you can be on offense. I know this year maybe you can be like, he actually got a touch better.
Same.
But if it's 2K rating, he's been a 99 each of the last 3 years
like,
as is.
CCP?
Right.
You're like looking around the court, like, you need a little spark. Sorry.
And so, I do not trust Russell Westbrook in the playoffs.
No.
And I think that if they were to, for instance, play the Lakers in round 2, and the Lakers are playing Russell Westbrook 10 feet away, that he won't be able to help himself. And I'm not as big of a Christian Brown guy as other people are. So, now listen, Jamal Murray has been a big-time playoff performer throughout his career, and we know how good Jokic is. But it would have to be Jokic just goes all-time, which he absolutely could. He's an all-time guy.
Before I go, Brew, were you enamored by the Lakers' victory over Denver when they just decided to triple team? They triple team Joker,
and took 7 shots.
JJ's like, I was up for 3 days figuring this out. Do you think that will carry over the playoffs since it's the first time they won in like 2 years?
I think it was a smart strategy, and I think other teams are trying to copy some of that when they play Denver. Look, during the series, remember, there were times Darvin Ham thought he solved them, right?
Oh, yeah.
And obviously that wasn't the case. But JJ's doing a great job. And the Lakers got 2 phenomenal offensive players, and the guys around them are playing great defense, and LeBron's improving.
And a night like last night, they didn't have 2 of their 5 starters.
Right.
And they put up 136.
I didn't want to make too much of
I understand, but scoring 136 in the NBA without 2 of your 5 starters is something. It is something. I understand it's the Pelicans. The Lakers, though, in this whole run, their losses have come to the worst teams they've played. They lost to Charlotte and lost to Utah.
Charlotte's
terrible.
Well, I know, but they can, LaMelo steps up. He won that game, in fact.
Go ahead.
Charlotte's his type of
I know, of course.
I mean, that's who
I'll tell you what else I like. I like the defending champions. That's why I was the Chiefs guy. And when we did NFL tiers, who was always at the top? I don't think it ever moved.
That's totally false. Mahomes never moved. The Chiefs were not at the top the whole year. The Bills beat them. And the Chiefs moved down.
That 1 week?
I think it was more than 1 week, but yes.
So I'll tell you what. These 2 teams play this weekend.
Yeah.
And when we do this next week, I'm okay. If the Lakers beat the Celtics in Boston, the Lakers can take the top spot. But this brand new team does not deserve to be on the same footing as the defending champs. And it's like, well, it's not just a one-time thing. The core of the Celtics just winning playoff games. Here's Josh's most playoff wins since 2022. They're the Celtics, so we know that they've played together, have gone through the whole gauntlet many times. So it's not just Luka and LeBron, which I know that we're ready to say it works 100%. Maybe not 100%, maybe 85% when we see the playoff rotations, see how it works, to see what you want to throw at them. Celtics defense, not as good as it was in their championship year, because in the championship year, they had the number 2 defense. Now they have the number 5 defense, so I think a common narrative is the Celtics defense got worse. No, it's actually the exact same, just other teams got a little bit better. And finally, the Celtics against the East, they're like the opposite of the Knicks. Versus Cavs, Bucks, and Knicks, they're 8-2. They win games by almost 10 points. They have 4 10-point wins. So I will put this, we're going to do it next week. I'm okay if the Celtics lose to the Lakers in Boston. I think that is a huge data point. The Lakers can be won. But if the Celtics beat the Lakers this weekend, the committee has to have the Celtics, who are the defending champions, and have looked pretty good. Bits of boredom.
Well, so, okay, a couple
Bits
things.
of boredom. Let the Cavs come back.
So, a couple things. So is this that the Celtics are incorrectly ranked now, or that this would be incorrect next week if it stays like this?
I'm trying to be diplomatic. I don't want to start a big fight.
You don't have to be
Obviously, the champs should be at the top of the tiers. It's the first tiers. Who deserves to be at the top?
Well,
you don't have the number 1 team. The best teams are in the second level.
Well, that's what I was going to argue.
So then put the champ at the top.
Yeah,
There's only 3 teams that should be at the top. The 2 first-place teams are the champs. Certainly, the Lakers shouldn't come and squeeze in here because they played good basketball for a little while.
Well, that's the other point I wanted to make. This whole they've played good basketball for a little while.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics have 18 losses, right? I think the Lakers have 21. So like the
Celtics played good basketball for 4 years. And they're the defending champions. They deserve more respect than being on a team that just came together the other day.
Okay, I think having them atop the tier is a lot of respect.
So they're saying, if they win, I need the committee to say, obviously,
it's not next week. Obviously,
I swear to God.
What?
I'm willing to make that's a fair deal. It's why we play the games. If they play in one team, it's a must-win.
Not only is it
it's a must-win for the Celtics.
Okay, Wildes. Not only is it a fair deal, it's an obvious point. That these 2 teams are playing in a week, and the Celtics already have a better record, and they're the defending champs. Of course, if they win, then when we do tiers next week, they would be ahead of them. Of course.
It's not the championship, though.
Jesus.
It's just a regular season victory.
What are you arguing? Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.